Oh man, do I love food. The LA Times even took notice after I ate at Hugo's nearly every day for 32 years. It was just blocks from my home in West Hollywood. And now I've moved to the motion picture and television fund here in Woodland Hills. And my obsession for good meals continue to simmer. Join me as I explore our food options here on the Wasserman campus. Rosalinda.
Hi, Phil.
How are you, Rosalinda?
Good afternoon. I'm fine, thank you.
Well, I want to welcome you to the original Foodie.
Well, thank you. It's been an honor to be on your show.
Oh, you're sweet. I want to stop a rumor. There's been a rumor around campus that you're leaving us.
Yes, pretty much. In a couple of weeks or so.
Yes, and how many years does that make that you've been here?
13 plus.
Tell me, how does a girl from the Philippines get to Hanna-Barbera and then flip over to the motion picture home and now retire? Tell me about that lady.
I met my husband in the Philippine island. And got married very young, at age 20, and he was in the military. So, and he was 23, and we fell in love and got married. Ever since, we've been married for 46 years.
Oh my God. And so now what are you going to do now after 46 years? Most of that you've been working.
Yes, I'm kind of excited, very excited. Probably travel. And first of all, I have to see my granddaughter who's living in Flagstaff, Arizona. She's close to Grand Canyon. It's
Right.
about 45-minute drive. So my granddaughter, who's 7 years old, her name is Rosalie. So that's where the first thing I'm going to do is spend time with her. Probably for about 2 to 3 weeks.
Sure. But what did you do over at Hanna-Barbera? Were you an artist, a graphics person?
No. Actually, when me and my husband lived in San Diego after we got married, we were in the military for 2 years, moved about 3 times from San Diego to Long Beach to Treasure Island, San Francisco. And after that, we came back to live in Canoga Park, which is West Hills area. And I acquainted a Filipino girl that worked for Hanna-Barbera, and she worked for Ink and Paint. And she kind of mentioned it to me that they needed an employee, a person there to apply, and so I did. And they want to make sure that I have to be immediately registered for the union in order to work there. So for the first 2 weeks of my salary had to be into the local 839. You have to be in a union in order to work there. So that's what happened, and I did. I went in and I had an interview, and they hired me, and that was of July 9th of 1979.
What did you start doing then?
I was in Ink and Paint. We're actually wiping cells before the actual cells are being cleaned and shot to the camera.
Oh.
Making sure no speck, no dust, no crystal clear.
Right. What did you wipe it with?
Some cloth with some kind of acetone solution that we have to do, and we use picks to make sure that the speck of paint has to be brushed off.
Right.
Yeah. And believe it or not, if you happen to clean a scene or a scene that has 275 cells to it,
Wow.
clean it up. And it's a long pan, A to G.
Right.
So you have to wipe those nicely. After you wipe it, you roll it to make sure that the dust is free. And then you put it back into the scene, the folder.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And then you start all over. You start again.
You start all over, you go
Uh-huh.
into another folder of a scene.
And so you stayed there. Then what brought you to the motion picture home here?
So I stayed since 1979. I worked for Hanna-Barbera. And in 1994, Turner Broadcasting bought Hanna-Barbera, the library. So he hung on for about 4 years and just took the library and sold the property. So now the library merged to Time Warner, Warner Brothers / Hanna-Barbera, Time Warner, AOL, all those things in 1994 to 2006. They started laying off in 1998,
Yeah.
the first batch. There was like 5,000 worldwide,
Wow.
the Warner Brothers. So, and then there's second batch, and I was the third batch. My last date there was December 31st of 2006 at Hanna-Barbera / Warner Brothers. So I was at the library. I run the library with the books and the original arts, and that's just a part of the Hanna-Barbera, a little bit of Warner Brothers.
How did you find out about this place?
When I was laid off on 2006, my mother-in-law who needed help, so I took care of her. She had a little bit of a mind problem, dementia, I should say. And I took care of her for about a year and a half. So after I got laid off, and then my husband also worked for Hanna-Barbera / Warner Brother. 6 months later, he got laid off. So he went to Pierce College and went some classes there. And one of the classmate was telling about motion picture that the wife worked here. And hey, maybe there's you can go to the motion picture, and apply for work, any kind of work, whatever is. Since that I wasn't employed, I came to Motion Picture and Television Fund physically and went into the human resources and just applied.
Uh-huh.
And the first person I had to talk to is Tara.
Oh.
So I introduced myself, and that's where it started. And
Been there have you always been at the lodge?
my training was at the lodge for 3 months, and then I was trained 3 months to the country house. So and then after that, I was everywhere. Then to the villa.
Right.
And 3 years later, they hired me as I was a wait staff, just on call. And I present myself that I'm available anytime you need me. It's another work to do so. And yes, they hired me as a 32 part-time substitute lead waitress.
All right.
Yes.
And so you've been here now how long?
since 2008. I started in
Wow.
March 3rd of 2008. And this is already to 2022. So this March, if I make it to the 8th of March,
You
or
will.
the 3rd of March, I'm sorry, I take that back, it would be 14 years.
Wow. Wow.
Yes, the time went so fast.
Yes. Yes.
But I did a service of 28 years to Hanna-Barbera / Warner Brothers.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what got you in here.
Yes.
And I'll be darned. Well, listen, the people that don't know you in the country house may not know you now, and there may be some in the villa that don't know you now. But we have a hold on you, and you can't leave us. We don't want you to leave us. We understand that you've been here a long time, and you've taken a lot of crap from a lot of us.
Are you going to make me cry?
Yeah, right. You're gonna-
Yes, I'm so attached with the residents. I know you all here at the lodge, and I'm really I'm sad,
Yes.
but I must do what I must do. I must.
Well, are you going? Do you still have family in the Philippines?
Yes, my whole entire family in the Philippines.
Oh, and there, what are your brothers and sisters?
Brothers and sisters, yes, everybody there.
How many?
I have one sister and 3 brothers.
Wow.
Yes, there are 5 of us.
Five.
I was the oldest of 9, by the way.
Wow. The oldest of 9.
It's a big family, yes.
It is a big family, yeah. Well, and now you got grandkids, and they got. Oh boy, that's a big.
It's
family.
a big, yeah.
And well, then you're a woman of the valley, so you know the valley. Do you get over to the other side to West Hollywood or any areas over there at all?
Not much of West Hollywood, but Musso Frank was one of my. Well, that's Hollywood. That's not really West Hollywood, but
It's Hollywood, yeah.
not much on West Hollywood. Hollywood, North Hollywood, Sherman Oaks, and Studio City, more likely. Yes.
Well,
You know.
with all this time that you spent now, is there any particular kind of food that sort of surprised you that Americans eat, or that you thought was so different than anything you had ever eaten?
Well, likely is the cheeseburger. I love cheeseburger.
Oh, geez.
That's one of my favorite. Plain cheeseburger. Well, not plain, with everything medium well.
It's funny, I took a friend of mine, he and his wife come from England. So I'm going to take him. So I take him to Musso's for a meal to have, and the old Hollywood history and everything.
That's right.
And he orders a cheeseburger. I said, you ordered your Musso. Here, we're going to pay $25 for it anyway. It don't make any difference. But at least have something that you never had. They've got a rabbit and fried chicken and prime rib. No, he wanted a cheeseburger.
I bet that cheeseburger is so good because they cook it the way you want it.
Yeah. No, their food is very good. I did a show.
It's very good. Yeah. I had their rack of lamb.
Yeah.
3 pieces of lamb. It was delicious.
Well, my favorite dish is the broiled chicken. There aren't many places that make broiled chicken because it takes so long. They're one of the few, and I just ask them to load it with garlic. And I have I love their baked chicken, and their baked potatoes are huge. And then there will Mark Echevarria, which is he's a 4th generation Musso. And he's the CEO He's the manager and owner, and his relatives they're all very, very involved in the running of Moose. It's been their food is wonderful. Nothing has changed. They've gone through the wall of one place because the owner went out of business next to him. And so they've opened up, they've got some private dining rooms now. So they now have that. And they'll be very successful. And they're still very expensive. And
yes, it is. Yeah, it's one of the best, and in Los Angeles, I think it's Musso Frank. It's not being mentioned all the time by people that been there, but it's almost like a kept secret
yes,
kind of, hangout for certain food that individual go for. Like their rack of lamb is, I guess, one of their best. And I haven't tried their chicken, their roasted chicken, but I bet it's delicious too.
yes. Only topped by their wonderful martini. The Musso martini knock you right in your butt. It's a wonderful.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, at 11 o'clock in the afternoon. It's wonderful. They've always made a nice, and they give you, they fill the glass, and then you have a little glass dispenser that is put in a small carafe, which is filled with ice, so that you can keep that next to your drink, and by the time you're into soup, you're in good shape.
My goodness, I never tried it because I know martini is an acquired drink.
It is an acquired drink, and I acquire a lot of them.
Well, good for you.
Well, I'm a vodka martini. There's two kinds. There's
Yes,
the
I
vodka,
know your drink.
and yes, right, and the vodka just works real well. And oh boy, no complaints. No complaints.
No complaints. Yes.
So,
Good.
But you will obviously. How far is the Philippines from the Hawaiian Islands? Not far, is it?
It's a 9-hour flight.
It's a 9-hour flight. Oh,
Yes.
That's far.
Yes, it's a 9-hour flight, and it's in total is 14 and 45 minutes from LAX to Los Angeles to Manila International.
Uh-huh.
But it breaks when you have a flight that is, they call it a straight flight or direct flight. They still have to get down either Guam or Hawaii to refuel.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. So you don't actually get out of. You kind of stretch for 45 minutes.
Right.
You get up on your seat, and then they lift you up off the plane, but you're inside. You don't have to. Yeah, you're inside, and you get back within 20 minutes into your seat, and then they take off. So it's 45 minutes duration on the plane being stopped and refueled.
Have you been to a city in the world that really flabbergasted you, that you were quite taken not only by the city, but by its food as well?
I haven't gone anywhere other than the United States and Mexico, but not on the inland Mexico. I'm more familiar in the Baja Peninsula, which is the little city, little town
Right.
and then Cabo San Lucas is really one of the olden days fishing village. You have the tip of Baja, which is the famous, well, not famous Finisterra Hotel and Resort.
Right.
And the first hotel, as I remember, is the Hacienda Hotel in Baja, the tip of Baja. And
Right.
in San Jose del Cabo, there is also a famous hotel there, hotel and resort is the Palmea. But I've never been there. I've seen the place, but never been in. So, but I stayed in the Finisterra, and we, it's exciting. It's to see like beautiful, big, huge fishing boats or yachts, and
Right.
there's rich people parking their yachts there. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
we just kind of imagine, wow, how beautiful it is if you have those, things that you just do it for fun, and they go out there for fishing, like I guess competition fishing.
Sure.
Yes, with their yacht and everything. So, but there was a one exciting place called the Senior Sushi, whose I know the owner was French, and he improvised the shrimp enchilada with white sauce.
Uh-huh.
So that was the French way of, I guess he improvised the sauce.
Right.
But it's wrapped on crepes, and they call it the shrimp enchilada.
Uh-huh.
They didn't call it the shrimp crepes. So
Right.
so that was one of my exciting experience in Cabo San Lucas.
Well,
And other than that, it's just San Francisco, San Diego. I went to New York. It's pretty amazing, the tall buildings. And
it is. It's a very, they say the New York minute is 30 seconds. And once you get into that kind of pace, because there is a certain momentum there. And you get into that pace and you're off and running. And New York is it's a wonderful eating town. We have there are wonderful restaurants in New York City, as there are here, and even where you are in the valley.
Yes.
There's a lot of wonderful restaurants. And of course, this weather that we have lends itself to, dining out, if you will. So
yes.
that's always been fun. We leave our rooms, we're inundated with food and food service. There isn't anything we can't have. There isn't any volume of food that cuts you off. You can eat 24/7 if you want. It's amazing.
Yes. You can always think ahead of what you feel like having, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we try to do that. To think ahead is a good idea. Yes,
right.
We can't do that, but no, the point is well taken. Well,
yes.
I do want to say, Rosalinda, our time has flown by. We've had a wonderful conversation with you. I want to thank you so very much for coming and spending the time.
Thank you so much, Phil. And it's an honor to be a guest on your show. And I appreciate it. And I thank you.
It is a pleasure. And as I sign off all the time, till we eat again.
Till we eat again.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.